You're watching ABC4 News with Emily Flores, Glenn Mills, and Alana Brophy.
At the request of the president, Congress just took the first step to avoid a potentially disastrous railway strike.
A strike is set to begin December 9th. Washington, D.C. correspondent Raquel Martin has more on what's on the line right now.
Good evening, that's right. And top economists say a railway strike would be a major blow to the U.S. economy, especially before the holidays. It's why, after months of failed negotiations today, lawmakers from both sides of the aisle voted to intervene.
The joint resolution is passed.
Wednesday, Democrats and Republicans passed a deal to try and avoid a nationwide railway strike.
Time is of the essence. We must act now.
Before the vote, Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Congress had no choice but to step in and seal a deal between union workers and railway companies.
Let me be clear, a nationwide rail shutdown would be catastrophic.
The vote comes after union workers rejected a deal brokered by the White House that included a 24% pay raise and a cap on health care costs. Many Republicans back that plan.
This deal is a great deal for the railroad workers.
But Democrats say rail workers deserve more.
The fact that paid leave is not part of the final agreement is, in my opinion, obscene.
The yeas are 221.
And voted separately to add a week of paid sick leave to the final deal.
It should be there, and I hope it will be there at the end of this process.
Only 3 House Republicans joined them.
This is an extreme, unprecedented version of the necessary congressional intervention.
Both bills now head to the Senate, where they'll need the support of Republicans like Missouri Senator Josh Hawley.
I am not going to support Joe Biden's framework that the workers in Missouri explicitly rejected. And now Joe Biden wants to use federal law to force it down their throats. I mean, no way.
In the end, Democrats need the help of just 10 Senate Republicans in order to prevent a strike by next week. In a statement from the White House this afternoon, the president called on the Senate to act urgently. For now in Washington, Raquel Martin, back to you.
A survivor of the deadly mass shooting at a Virginia Walmart is suing the company. She claims she filed the complaint against the gunman 2 months ago, and the company did nothing about it. In that complaint, she described what she called bizarre behavior. She was in the break room when the store manager came in, opening fire, killing 6 of her coworkers.
Psychologically, she's tormented right now. She's having a lot of sleepless nights, obviously. She's had several panic attacks.
Walmart releasing a statement to ABC News saying, "We are reviewing the complaint and will be responding as appropriate with the court."
And multiple tornadoes touched down across the South. More than 24 were reported in Louisiana and Mississippi. 2 storm-related deaths have been reported in Alabama. Now other parts of the country are bracing for extreme weather. More than 4 feet of snow is expected in the Sierra Nevadas.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast with Alana Brophy. Weather rates certified 11 years in a row.
And right now, a little break in between those storms.
Yes, indeed, with some stunning sunsets behind you, Alana.
Yeah, really pretty sun and a little break. It's a little one because tomorrow we start to see those changes, noticeable changes with the cloud cover out there tonight. Great sunset coming out of Immigration Canyon. Thank you so much to Wendy for sending this our way. We love your photos. Send them to weather@abc4.com. We're tracking a few things. The high pressure breaking down with that increasing cloud cover and gusty winds as our southwest flow enhances heading into tomorrow. The winds of change, if you will, because our next cold front will come tracking through. That strong front is organized and it does bring additional accumulating snow. So be ready because we've got commute compromised as a result. This is what it looked like. Bluebird Day up there at Snow Basin. Really pretty video here. You can see the sun out, but the winds knocking around that fresh snow at the top of the peaks. We're going to add snow and we're going to add wind as we get through the next 24 hours. Our Futurecast wind gusts show we've got a wind advisory going into effect at noon. Those red lines indicating southerly winds, and we've got decent numbers along the Wasatch Front and the West Desert. We're going to stay gusty, and at times that will be noticeable through the afternoon. Here we are by 3 p.m. Heading later into the day, getting to 8 p.m. Still strong winds for northern Utah and the western side of the state, as well as places like Hanksville and Moab. Staying breezy as we roll into Friday, even after the front comes through. Now, the winds for tomorrow have prompted this advisory that was issued this afternoon. It means gusts could get up to 55 miles per hour, blowing dust potential on the western side of the state. I-80 crosswinds could be really tough there. Also expecting crosswinds on 80 and 6, so a heads up there. Blustery conditions just expected. We know this happens ahead of a front, but as that gradient tightens, It's going to be very noticeable later on into the day. Okay, there's our system in the Pacific Northwest. Watch as it kind of tracks through. We give you the timing here. The front's going to swoop on in. We get increasing cloud cover throughout the day tomorrow. Another indicator that change is on the way, and boom, there's that moisture. It's going to be a burst of snow, and we're looking at consistent snow for a couple of hours as a result. This is 1 a.m., so after midnight, with cold temperatures in place and behind the front, we'll see that snow. Any bit of rain that you may see will transition very quickly, and that snow is going to accumulate in our northern mountains along the Wasatch Front and into the central and southern portion of the state. Notice as that moisture by 5 a.m. still in the north slides into central Utah, but it does impact a portion of I-15, so we could see slick travel. The Friday morning commute looks sloppy along the Wasatch Front. Just a heads up now. And then the front clears the state. We get a decent amount of cloud cover by Friday night, and then we get a bit of a break. But again, a break that doesn't last long because the long range brings potential of another storm. Winter storm watch posted. This is new this afternoon, and that's for the Wasatch Front as well as our Utah mountains, because those are the areas that will be picking up fresh snow from this system. This watch likely to evolve into an advisory and a warning heading into tomorrow. Futurecast precipitation gives you the timing. Once again, we watch as it fills in by the afternoon hours. That moisture's knocking on the door. Here we are by 1 a.m. northern Utah, starting to see that snow. It slides into central and southern Utah. It's going to be rain down there in Washington County, but we see a decent amount of it. How much? 1 to 4 inches for the Wasatch Front. Bench is doing a little better, 3 to 6. This is on the heels of our last storm. 4 to 8 in our mountain valleys. This includes the Wasatch Back as well as Park City. Our central and southern valleys, places like Cedar City, traced to 2 inches. So yeah, that could definitely mean a tough commute on Friday morning. Mountain locations, really healthy amount, 6 to 12 in the north. Southern mountains at 3 to 7, 5 to 10 in the central mountains. Cottonwoods could pick up another foot, maybe 1.5 feet as that system comes through, depending on how long it's going to be over the area. But fresh snow, good news for the mountains, not great for the commute. You can see we will see a compromised commute Friday morning, giving you that heads up early. We're going to see those winds of change for our Thursday. Temperatures warm, almost, you could say. Very mild because of the southwest flow transporting in warmer air, 30s and 50s on the eastern side of the state. These areas, Bluff, Blanding, Monticello, Moab, actually benefiting from those southerly winds, but notice how the Basin and Castle Country won't. 40s for the I-15 corridor and 58 in St. George. Speaking of Washington County, rain potential on Friday, and then again as we see that next storm coming through on Monday. Here's the Wasatch Front. Bit of a different story. We love an active pattern, folks. Temperatures tumble on Friday behind the front with accumulating snow and a sloppy morning commute. Another storm moving in Sunday night could impact us with snow on Monday, even possibly lingering in the mountains until Tuesday. Temperatures up, down, and all around. Wow, a stormy pattern. We'll take it. Glenn, Emily, over to you.
All right, thank you. Welcome to December. Thanks, Alana. Throughout the year, the Department of Natural Resources monitors our wildlife populations to keep things in balance.
ABC4's Ali O'Rulian riding along with the DNR biologist to Morgan County and getting a behind-the-scenes look at the process and why it's so important.
Yeah, DNR monitors population for 2 reasons. 1, what's best for the environment, and 2, what's best for our hunters.
Driving up Morgan County at the crack of dawn, binoculars in hand, DWR biologist Jayla Walden counts deer. It's a vital part of her job, but why? Well, there's 2 main reasons. First, the environmental aspect.
The fawn to doe ratios are used to estimate populations overall.
The amount of fawn and does in an area determines if their population number is biologically sound, determining if there's too many deer fighting over their resources or too little deer to maintain the ecosystem. Walden says population levels are also dependent on the weather.
If we have a really harsh winter, we could lose a lot of fawns. If we have a light winter, then we should see a really good recruitment this year.
She says a harsh winter 2 years ago, followed by a tamer winter last year, and then a rainy summer, meant many does lost their fawns, but it actually became beneficial as it allowed them to improve physically.
So they came into this spring in really good condition. And so we had a really good fawn crop this year.
Not only are these counts crucial to understanding our ecosystem, they're necessary for hunting seasons. Counting bucks ensures there's enough to populate the area and to hunt. But DWR says you don't need to worry about hunters endangering bucks.
Our buck to doe ratios run much, much higher than what's biologically needed in order to sustain deer population.
Because of counts like these and the continual monitoring of populations, DWR is able to release the right amount of buck hunting permits.
Provides enough bucks on the landscape to allow a good hunting opportunity, but also allows us to issue a lot of permits so lots of people get the opportunity to hunt.
And it all comes down to the count. And even though we're nearing the end of deer hunting season, you're probably going to be seeing them on the roads. This time of year, things get darker, you're more likely to hit them, so stay safe. Reporting in Morgan, I'm Ali O'Rulian, ABC4 News.